Hey everybody. So Cecilia Kang at the New York Times was tasked with writing a fact check article on the exploding viral story about this pizza shop in DC, Comet Pizza, which appears to be connected to the elite pedophile ring which tortures and rapes young children in the name of a Luciferian or satanic cult. Many high-ranking members in Washington, D.C., many high ranking members of our government are a member of this cult. And the hysteria from the mainstream media, there's some of the trending articles on the New York Times right now. Their hysteria over this made up issue of fake news is to detract from Pizzagate, which is not fake news. And by the way, someone pointed out to me that WUSA 9, a CBS affiliate, the CBS affiliate in Washington, D.C., I believe, they, as well as the Washington Post on their website, ran a segment about Pizzagate, and they featured a tweet of mine and Reddit, and they characterized me and other researchers on this as online bullies. Now, I've never been called an online bully before. There's my Wikipedia page. You can see American journalist, YouTuber, personality. Former girlfriends might challenge the notion that I have much of a personality, but aside from that, that's what I am. You know, I'm a former contributor to Business Insider and Huffington Post and Entrepreneur Magazine. I was a staff writer for The Street. I'm not an online bully. People know who I am, and I'm not the only person researching this. I'm basically vetting and resharing facts that other researchers are uncovering. So what's happening here, the mainstream media, why are they attacking critics of a random pizza shop? Why is this pizza shop's owner the 49th most powerful person in Washington, D.C., according to GQ? As this channel's researcher revealed in the last video, why did the owner of this random pizza shop visit the White House 5 times, the Obama White House 5 times, and by the way, not to deliver food, because White House policy strictly prohibits food to be brought in. For security reasons, the president's food has to be prepared on site by the White House kitchen. So why was he there 5 times? Why are all of these adult politicians hanging out at a pizza shop that appears to be catered to 8 to 12-year-olds with ping pong tables? Why did the New York Times not discuss the details of the creepy artwork on the wall, or the fact that in the bathroom is a painting or a picture of an alien? I mean, an alien that says "shut up and fuck," that's the caption. Is that appropriate for young children? Why are so many of DC elites, why are so many of DC's political elites throwing parties, birthday parties, and fundraisers at this profoundly creepy pizza shop? Now, Cecilia Kang, the woman who wrote this debunking article in the New York Times, which incidentally didn't actually tackle any of the evidence or facts that researchers have come up with, and didn't tackle any of the evidence or facts that have been shared here on this YouTube channel or on other popular YouTube channels. So we looked into Cecilia Kang, and if you search for her on WikiLeaks, there are actually 133 results. It appears that she's someone that Podesta and Podesta's crew had an eye on for some time for whatever reason. So she's on Podesta's radar. Now, if you look at her track record, she is not an investigative reporter. Here are some of her stories, some of her other recent stories. So stuff about the Samsung phones, some tech stuff, some stuff about Airbnb. Great, okay. But that doesn't make her an investigative reporter. She is totally unqualified to cover this. It's very unusual that the New York Times assigned this story to her, and it's, again, very unusual that she pops up 133 times in the WikiLeaks. And something doesn't feel right here. This is bad journalism. To assign this story to Cecilia Kang would be like somebody assigning me a story where they're like, hey, go review this opera show or go review this concert. I would have to turn that down because I'm not a music reviewer and I'm not a culture writer, right? I could write, hey, the opera sounded really nice, it was fun, I got a drink, but that's about it. I'm not a culture reviewer. And similarly, I'm not a sports writer, so I don't think that ESPN would call me and ask me to write an article about some athlete when that's not my beat. So Cecilia Kang, again, is uniquely unqualified to be the person at the New York Times to write that debunking article. But a number of people on the internet have debunked her article, and it's sad how pathetic their attempt to cover this up was, and it's sad that James Alefantis, an extremely creepy man who should be investigated and should face trial purely for the fucking disgusting stuff on his Instagram page, why doesn't everybody in the country talk about this and know about this? Do I have to be attacked by other TV stations like WUSA 9, which, by the way, several people have told me I could probably file a lawsuit against them and make a lot of money because that is clear slander. Again, I've been in the media for 10 years. I'm not an anonymous online bully. I always put my real name to my work. And again, my record speaks for itself. Business Insider, Huffington Post, Entrepreneur Magazine, TheStreet.com, a number of other outlets. How does that make me an online bully for sharing facts about a pizza shop which has overwhelming evidence that it is part of a pedophile ring that abuses and rapes and possibly even kills very young children? Which, by the way, if a jury of your peers finds that you have raped and killed a young child, you get the electric chair. Is that why there is this campaign to make this pizza shop seem so nice and friendly? Well, let's look into some of the details. So for one thing, on the in the article, in Cecilia Kang's article, she uses the word fake so many times that people who read that wondered if they were being brainwashed, if she was trying to hypnotize them or something. Why do you keep using the word fake? We get it. You think that this is a fake story. That's why you use the word fake 19 times on one page. We get it. But how about some facts to actually convince us that this is a fake news story, which it is not? So I want to read from part of the blow-by-blow dissection. It's called Blow-by-Blow Dissection of NY Times article on PizzaGate. This was published 18 hours ago by a researcher over on Steemit. And I just want to read a couple of paragraphs because they really got into this. It said that the article contained misleading language. Quote, Kang makes it sound like Pizzagators took pictures of children off of Comet Pizza's official pages and off random people who merely liked official Comet ping pong posts. This is false. The vast majority of the disturbing images were pilfered from James Alefantis' personal, public Instagram account. The others were from several accounts of his employees and associates, all of whom do not have children of their own. Now that's an important point that the New York Times did not get into and in fact tried to distort. Why does this adult man who does not have any kids of his own, why is he posting photos of babies that appear to have their mouths opened on command? What the fuck is going on here? Now let's continue to read this. The, quote, parents who declined to talk publicly for fear of retribution, end quote, don't bother to give even an anonymous quote. Who are they? Surprisingly, nobody has figured it out. I recall at least 5 different infants and children on James' Instagram alone. None of the supposed parents of the pictured children have, as of now, November 22nd, been identified via social media research. Kang is correct that 4chan users searched through the accounts of everyone who liked those creepy baby photographs, but they didn't find a single parent. Instead, they found Assistant U.S. Attorney Aaron Rao, whose jurisdiction in Southern Maryland covers child pornography and racketeering cases. Funny how that didn't make it in. Yeah, it is a little unusual that somebody who is an Assistant U.S. Attorney focused on child pornography cases, a little unusual that he would be skimming through this Instagram account and liking a photo. And by the way, the New York Times just called this modernist art. Is this appropriate art for a young children's ping pong and pizza place? Severed heads, what appears to be some kind of orgy, and then of course in the bathroom at this restaurant is an alien which has a speech bubble, and the speech bubble says, "Shut up and fuck." Now, Cecilia Kang, you will go down for the rest of time as a disgrace to the profession of journalism, even by the very low standards set in this past election cycle, with the New York Times gaslighting us for more than a year, trying to convince us that Hillary Clinton was a shoo-in, even though she couldn't even fill up an auditorium without celebrities headlining for her, trying to convince us all that she was a shoo-in and that Donald Trump doesn't even want to win. It's all some kind of big ploy to launch his TV network. By the way, a multi-billionaire doesn't have to run for president to launch a TV network. He can just launch a TV network. So Cecilia Kang, shame on you. This is a disgrace to the profession of journalism. This is a disgrace to our species. James Alefantis, without any doubt, is a significant player and something that is so evil that many of us have thrown up when we fully understand what is going on. We've actually thrown up. Fully grown researchers throwing up and crying. James Alefantis, shame on you. And Cecilia Kang, shame on you. This will live forever on the internet that you tried to defend a pizza shop that is closely connected to a pedophile ring. How do the young victims feel about that? I can't even imagine how they are coerced into silence and how their families are coerced into silence. When me, as a YouTuber and well-known journalist, I've now been attacked on a CBS TV affiliate, and I've been attacked by trolls on the internet. I've been threatened by random accounts, threatened with character attacks. In fact, they have run some character attacks. They've created fake Twitter accounts asserting that I'm a pedophile. Talk about turning around the narrative. This is what these Clintons do. This is what these DC filth do. They accuse their enemies of that which they are guilty of. So Cecilia Kang, you will go down in history as one of the worst journalists to have ever lived, because to cover for a pedophile ring and to ignore the screams of these children who want justice, especially as a woman, is so low that it makes my blood boil, Cecilia Kang. I want to buy an issue of the New York Times this morning so I can tear it to pieces. That's how angry I am. I don't think I'm alone. You're covering for a pedophile ring. You're discrediting all of us who are researching this. Fuck you.